or this is a supply and demand video while also being a trade recap on SPY that I took on September 8th. So what is supply and demand? So supply and demand is where big money like hedge funds and institutions buy or sell their positions, and it could be seen as another form of support and resistance. So you short at supply and you long at demand. So how can you identify these zones? So you could identify these zones by seeing how fast price moves away from the previous candle, and the bigger the move, the stronger the zone. So this here would be our supply zone, because look, right before this big drop, this is the previous candle before the big drop, and right before this pump up, this is the previous candle, this pre-market candle right here. So let's do a price range on it. So for this demand, we went from it's called $6.53 move, and for the supply price range, $4.45 move. So zones are, what exactly are zones? So zones are just areas where lots of unfilled orders are at. So every time price retraces back to the zone and retests it, the zone gets weaker and weaker since more and more orders gets filled. So how do you draw these zones exactly? So I draw these zones from our supply zone. You draw them from top wick to bottom body right here. So top wick to bottom body, and vice versa for demand. So demand, you draw it from bottom wick to top body right here. And what time frame is the best? Personally, I think 15 minutes is the best time frame, because I feel like 30 minutes way too long, and 5 minute just gets invalidated from my experience. So now here's a trade example of what I took on supply and demand. So we knew 400 to 401 was huge resistance, because we dropped like $11 to $13 last two times we retested it. So after we saw this fail to two up, or this fail to two up or shooter candle on the 15 minute at 400 zone, since we had there's our watch list. So we had watch list at reject 400, since last two retests we dropped $11 and $13 respectively. So we saw this reversal candle and we grabbed puts here. So we took SPY 397 puts at 116 fill on 8:38 a.m. So this candle right here, we draw it. This candle, we took puts on this candle, and we held all the way to this right here. So we sold, or our final contract, we sold at 178%, but I only got a 100% screenshot. So why do we sell down here? So how you play supply and demand is, if you're in shorts, you buy. If you're in shorts, right, you sell at demand, and vice versa if you're in longs. So longs, you buy at demand, sell at shorts, or sell at supply, and yeah, that's basically it. So once we hit this demand rate, this pre-market demand, we quickly got bought back up, and we morning starred right here, and we basically reversed all the way back to back to 400 area. So since right here, right, we had strong ass supply. Since, remember, let's do a price range. We dropped $4.45 in one candle, so that's a very strong supply. So that means we had to retest it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times before the ninth time. The last candle for power hour, we eventually broke it and held above. So that's how you, what's it called? That's how you know a zone has been invalidated. Just like support and resistance, it needs to hold above. So let's say support and resistance, right? So this candle right here, this needs to break out and then hold above it. That's how you do a confirmed breakout. Same thing for supply and demand. It needs to hold above it, or it needs to break out and then hold above, since they form similar purposes. So basically, a recap is that you short at supply. You short at supply, sell your positions at demand, and vice versa for if you're in longs. So longs, you buy at demand, sell your positions at supply. Just like if you were in support and resistance, you short at resistance, sell at support, and you buy calls at support, sell at resistance. So hopefully this trade recap is like easy to understand, and now you know how to draw supply and demand. Oh wait, another thing is, so why we drew supply right here instead of up here where the initial reversal is at, is because look, so remember how we dropped $4.45 here, and you draw the zone right before the big drop. So we didn't draw at the initial reversal because right here there's only a $1.53 move, if you were confused by that. But that's basically the lesson on supply and demand, and also the trade recap we did, where the 178%, but we only got a 100% screenshot.